Hello, welcome to episode 3 of IOnTheTigers, a podcast taking a look at the National Ice Hockey League, but always having an eye on the Telford Tigers. So, first of all, welcome back, and let's pick up as promised last week. So, what we'll do is we're going to take a look now at last season in the National League, obviously the focus on the Telford Tigers. So to kick off, let's have a quick run through of who won what. So the league was won by Leeds Knights. The cup was won by the Peterborough Phantoms, with playoffs being won by the Leeds Knights as well. So that's the roll call of success. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the season for the Telford Tigers, and then what I'll do is quickly touch on each of the other teams who were in the league last season. So for the Tigers, bit different to previous seasons. So the past couple of seasons we'd won the league. Last season wasn't to be. I kind of feel as though it was a season in 3 parts. So we started the season off 17th September, losing at Leeds. And I'd say the first part of the season then lasted until the 19th of November, when we actually won at Leeds in overtime. So for the first couple of months of the season, winning some games, losing some games, got some points on the board, doing all right. Wasn't as in previous seasons where we've won the league and loads of victories, but at the same time, it's not as though we were scrabbling around. Second part of the season, so from 20th of November, when we lost against Leeds, through to the 4th of February, when we lost at Swindon. This was the tricky period of the season, I think it would be safe to say. So there were 2 wins in 20 games. Obviously far from ideal, and at that point sort of dropping down the league table. Bristol were definitely catching up, getting close, and there probably were, to be honest, questions about whether or not we would be able to make the playoffs. Final part of the season, so from the 5th of February when we won against the Bees, through to the 2nd of April, final regular season game, which was a home win, and a big home win at that, against the Bristol Pitbulls. It was a bit more similar to the first half of the season. We're getting wins, some losses in there. In the end, we were able to secure 7th in the table, which then brought us through to the playoffs. So finishing 7th in the table saw us take on the 2nd place team in the league. So that was Milton Keynes Lightning. First leg was at Milton Keynes, very close game. Fortunate to come out of that with a 3-2 win. Tough place to go. And obviously they're a very good team, but no, came out of that with a 3-2 win. So second leg, Sunday night, back in Telford, held on to a 1-goal advantage. With about 10 minutes to go, we were winning 5-2, but then they scored 3 power play goals in under 2 minutes to make it 5-5, which made for a very nervous final 8 minutes. But we did hold on. Barn was absolutely rocking, amazing atmosphere, great result by the team. Everybody dug in and able to come away with an aggregate victory. And then through to the playoff finals weekend, being the lowest ranked team at the playoff finals weekend, we took on Leeds Knights and lost a narrow game there, 7-6. So that was how the season ended, with a 7-6 loss against Leeds in the playoff semi-final. Perhaps a bit of symmetry, because we'd started off the season with losing to Leeds as well. In terms of how the season went, was it disappointing not to win the league? Yes. However, on the flip side, I don't think I expected us to win the league. I did feel that last season there were stronger teams. In some ways, perhaps a little bit disappointed. I think we could have finished a bit higher up than the 7th in the league. Certainly sort of first and third spells indicated that we could, but that spell in the middle really put pay to that. But putting into account that spell in the middle, so winning 2 games in 20, I think we've got to be pleased with the outcome of the season, of qualifying for the playoffs and then even making the final 4 weekend and running both the league and playoff winners very, very close in that semi-final. So all in all, finished last season kind of like feeling happy, I guess. In terms of that mid-season form, so as I said, just winning 2 in 20, what's behind it? I guess we'll never know. I mean, it is worth, I guess, saying at that point, Bailey Harewood left and joined the Bristol Pitbulls. Daniel Mulcahy left, and also we lost both Jason Silverthorne and Nick Oliver to injuries for the rest of the season. And definitely perhaps results started to pick up when, quite simply, we just brought in a few further bodies. So Tom Carlin came in, Gareth O'Flaherty came in, and perhaps most notably, certainly in terms of points production, would have been bringing in Rory Herman, which neatly segues into our point scorers for last season. So I've got it on a separate screen, hence why I'm looking across. So topping the point scoring for the Tigers last season was Vladimir Luka. You can see his shirt behind. That won off the shirt off the back competition, actually. So that was a very welcome surprise that night. But yeah, so Vladimir Luka led the point scoring. So he played 55 games, and in that time, 51 goals, 38 assists for 89 points. Just do the top five. So second was Scott McKenzie, 50 games played, 19 goals, 52 assists for 71 points. Third was Finley Howes, 56 games played, 35 goals, 32 assists for 67 points. Just on that, I really feel that last season was a big and breakout season for Finley Howes. There was something on Twitter a while back with people asking for who'd had a breakout season. I suggested Howes, but the person who was doing it thought actually the season before was perhaps more of his breakout season. So interesting question to perhaps debate there. Getting back to it though, so fourth, Rory Herman, 21 games played, 23 goals, 21 assists for 44 points. So yeah, averaging just shade over 2 points a game. That's a pretty big impact and will definitely have helped sort of turn some of those results around. And we had a joint fifth place. So Sam Watkins and Danny Rose. Sam Watkins played 52 games. Danny Rose played 56 games. Both of them scored 7 goals and got 26 assists for 33 points. So that's sort of the top 5 point scorers. Next down the list was Silverthorne, who, as already said, was out injured for sort of the second half of the season. So 30 games played, 14 goals, 18 assists for 32 points. So if he could have, or if he'd have been fit throughout the season, certainly somebody who's going along at around about a point a game would have been particularly useful, especially sort of that mid-season spell that we saw where we only picked up the 2 wins in the 20 games. So that's the Tigers. Take a look at their season. I'll quickly run down the NIHL table now, so for each team and just whether or not I think they could be pleased with their season or not. So starting from the top and working down. So first place Leeds Knights. They won the league, they won the playoffs. They're going to be happy with last season, ultimately. I don't think there's sort of too much argument about that one. Second place, Milton Keynes Lightning. Second in the league. Didn't win any silverware, didn't make the Final Four weekend. I think they might be disappointed with last season. Got close, they kept pace with Leeds for a lot, but ultimately they've sort of come out the season with nothing. I think they're probably a bit disappointed. Third in the league, Peterborough Phantoms. Won the cup, kept pace with the top 2 for a fair bit of the season. I think they'll probably be relatively happy. Their only disappointment might be not making the Final Four for the playoffs. Fourth place, Sheffield Steel Dogs. Made the Final Four weekend. Fourth in the league. I think they'll be pretty happy with last season. Fifth place, Swindon Wildcats. They, I think, will be disappointed. I think they would have been expecting to have finished higher than 5th in the league. Sixth place, Raiders. I think they'll be very happy with last season. Comfortably 6th in the league. They were, pretty close to 5th. So they were, 6 points behind the Swindon Wildcats. Also, they made the playoff final. So every reason to be happy with last season. 7th, Telford Tigers, who we've already discussed. 8th, Basingstoke Bison. They made the playoffs. I think they'll have been happy with that. I think that would have been realistic at the start of the season. 9th, Bristol Pitbulls. They didn't make the playoffs, but I think they'll be happy. It was their first season in the league. They ran it close, and it was only sort of the final couple of weeks at which the playoffs became out of reach for them. 10th, the Bees. I suspect they'll be disappointed to finish 10th. I think they'll have hoped to have made the playoffs, but I think to see Bristol finishing above them, with it being Bristol's first season, would probably count as disappointment. And in 11th place were the Seahawks, Hull Seahawks. Probably a bit disappointed. However, the first half of the season really did not work out. They had issues getting imports in and playing. And then when they did get clearance for Svetch to play, he picked up a 10-game ban in his first game. So that concludes my very quick recap of the 2022-2023 season. Look forward to seeing you back next week, same time on a Tuesday evening. And what I'll do is I'll take a look at how the Telford Tigers are shaping up for the upcoming season. Look forward to seeing you back. As always, anything you agree with, anything you disagree with, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. See you next week.